gotta turn this on, records on, and I have to call the interpreter. This gentleman needs the interpreter, right? Okay. All right, we are on the
This is Dalia
record.
Romero. Dalia Romero, Spanish interpreter, already sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Romero. For the record, appearances from the state.
Lisa Gongora for the state.
For the public defenders,
Jay Salon, Public Defender's Office.
and from pretrial release.
Courtney Bertrand, pretrial release.
Thank you. We have State versus Hector Argueta. Mr. Argueta, can you hear the interpreter?
Señor Argueta, ¿puede usted escuchar la intérprete?
I think
Señor
not.
Argueta?
He's got a
Oh,
headset
one
on.
moment. Yes, one moment, Your Honor.
All right.
He can hear the interpreter now, Your Honor.
Sir, please say your name.
Héctor Mauricio. Héctor Mauricio. Yeah.
Hector Mauricio Argueta. Yes.
Sir, you have an added charge, and it has been alleged that after I saw you yesterday and told you not to have any contact with the listed victim, that you called her from the jail. Don't respond. It's okay. That's what's been alleged. I believe I appointed the public defenders to represent you yesterday, but I'm not 100% sure that I did.
I'm pretty sure you did, Your Honor. I have a note that I think you did.
All right. So there is probable cause for the added violation, the added charge, and bond in the new charge will be set at $1,000. No contact with the victim. And the case that I saw him on yesterday, since he has not posted bond, will be revoked and doubled. So whatever I set yesterday is going to be set aside, not revoked technically, recalled I guess would be the right word, and doubled. So if I set 1,000, it's now 2,000. PTR, do you have that case number?
The case from yesterday was
Yes.
2020 CF 014463AO, and the bond was set at $7,500.
So 14463 AO. And again, no contact with listed victim, no return, all those other conditions are still there. Except now you have to post a higher bond. And the public defender's office will be appointed on the new charge today. Thank you. And I hope the public defender doesn't mind. I told him not to talk. I figured.
No, yes, Your Honor.
He heard me before he heard you.
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right. Juliano Reyes.
Yes, sir. Sí, señora.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, can you please say your name?
Juliano Reyes.
Juliano Reyes.
Sir, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. There is probable cause. Your bond will be set at $500 with pretrial release. Do not possess or consume any alcohol. Do not have any contact with the victim. Do not return to any shared residence. Do not possess any weapons or firearms. Does he qualify for the PD? We don't know the Spanish ones, right? Do you need a public defender?
Una pregunta.
And Your Honor, can the interpreter ask him if he needs to return to
Una
the
pregunta.
residence?
Entonces
at any
yo no me
point?
puedo defender. Yo solamente vine a escucharla a ella y que me dio un ticket de $500.
I cannot defend myself. I just came here to listen to her, and she's giving me a $500 ticket.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the interpreter clearly. Can you speak up?
I came here to defend myself and hear the ticket that the judge is giving me for $500.
My question is, do you need a public defender? Do you need a lawyer?
Yes.
Yes.
And the public defender would like to know if there are belongings at the victim's residence that you would need to pick up. Do you have any of your things there?
Yeah, my clothes and my car.
No, you just asked for a one-time return, Your Honor.
One-time return is fine to pick up personal
Yes,
belongings
Your Honor.
with a law enforcement officer.
¿Verdad?
Thank you.
Okay, but I'm be arrested today. Yesterday, I'm be arrested today for like she coming wrong.
Say it in Spanish because the interpreter has to translate for the record.
Okay, ella vino borracha a la casa, entonces yo estoy preso porque ella vino borracha a pelear conmigo, llaman a la policía, yo soy el culpable.
Yes.
She came to the house. She was drunk. She came to the house drunk. I was arrested. The guilty one.
Those details and any argument or any defense that you may want to present happen later. They don't happen today. Your lawyer will sit down at another time and explain this all to you and tell you what you can do and what you should do.
Ahora yo pago
Thank
mi
you.
fianza y me voy.
Don't talk about
So now I will pay my bond and leave.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Now I pay my bond and just leave.
Yeah. See?
Thank you.
All right, Jonathan Sanchez Cedeno. Give him the headset. They're wiping it down.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, please say your name.
Luis Sanchez.
Jonathan Luis Sanchez.
Sir, you were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. There is probable cause. PTR indicates that you have 3 failures to appear and your last conviction was November 2nd of 2020. Your bond is going to be set at $2,000.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. How much for the interpreter?
$2,000. Do you need a public defender, sir?
Sí.
Yes.
PD will be appointed provisionally. Thank you. Ya, señor. Gracias. Gustavo Bautista. Please say your name, sir.
Gustavo Bautista.
Gustavo Bautista Bautista.
Sir, you were arrested for criminal mischief. Greater than $200, but less than $1,000. There is probable cause. Your bond is set at $250. No return to the scene, which is 6217 Appian Way. No contact with the homeowners.
And Your Honor, he does have a ICE detainer,
He has a what?
immigration hold.
Okay, thank you. Do you need a public defender, Mr. Bautista?
Sí.
Yes.
PD will be appointed provisionally. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Ya, señor. Billy Joe Quintana Vega. Please say your name, sir.
Billy Joe Quintana Vega.
Look over here.
Billy Joe Quintana Vega.
So there are two counts that you were arrested on in this case. I have an issue with count 2. The first count is battery by strangulation, which I find to be domestic. Count 2 is tampering with a witness and hindering communication, which I don't think is quite there. I'd like to ask the state to tell me if there is something that you would like to argue with regard to PC for count 2.
She indicated that she was going to call the front desk, and then she even tried to call on her cell phone for help.
All I saw was he knocked the phone out of her hand. I didn't see anything that
Look at her now.
that next step to make it impossible for her
Look at her now.
to use the phone to call for help.
That's fine, Judge.
Okay. So I find probable cause for count 1, but not quite that connect the dots in count 2. I have a history here provided by pretrial release. Indicates last conviction, April 2017, domestic battery ×2, domestic assault, history of batteries and assault, previous history of battery by strangulation, false imprisonment, tampering with a witness, violation of protection orders, and then ag bat on a pregnant person. Anything else from PTR?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ma'am, you don't have to say anything, but if you want to say something, I have to swear you in.
Okay,
Do you want to talk?
yes.
All right, so since you're in the room by yourself, I need you to pull the mask and then talk right into the microphone because it's hard to hear. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
A little bit louder.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That was good. That level was good.
Okay.
Say your name.
My name's Elizabeth Cabrera.
And Ms. Cabrera, you're the person who's listed in the police report as the victim, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you want to say, ma'am?
That I would like to keep contact.
I can't hear you.
I would like to keep contact,
Okay,
Okay.
why?
because he's my fiance and
I can't hear you.
because he's my fiance and I don't feel in danger with him either.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I can't.
Can you
said
hear me now?
And I don't feel,
Can you hear me now?
sorta, kinda.
I don't feel endangered by him or anything like that.
Even though you told the police he tried to choke you?
Yes, ma'am. I don't.
You
feel
don't, you're
endangered.
not scared of him even though you said he tried to choke you?
No, ma'am.
How long have you been together?
For a year.
1 year, okay. State, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask?
Yes, when he knocked the phone out of your hand, did you tell him that you were trying to call the police?
He knocked the phone out of my hand, but it was during the whole.
I can't hear
issue.
you, ma'am.
It was during the whole thing that happened when the phone fell out of my hand.
But why did you have the phone?
I didn't tell him I was going to call the cops.
Okay, you didn't tell him?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you guys live together?
Yes.
Do you guys have any kids in common?
No.
Is there, does he have any family members around?
Not close.
He
They
does-
don't. They live far out from Orlando.
Okay.
Yo trabajo mañana.
I work tomorrow.
I have no further questions, Judge.
Okay. Defense, do you wish to inquire of the witness?
No, Your Honor, I have no questions.
All right. Bond in this case is going to be set at $3,500, count 1. No contact with the victim. I'm not allowing you to have any contact with her. You're not allowed to live with her until further court order. You're not allowed to possess any weapons or firearms. And the no contact means no text messaging, no social media, no passing messages through friends, no calling from the jail. None of that. I
Okay.
heard what you said. I hope you heard what I said of what I read, that when his name was looked up, those are all the things that come up. I don't know which ones were convictions. I don't know which ones were true. But you've been with him a year. This history goes back longer than a year. You need to go find out what's true before you decide if this is the person you want to make a life with. And that's the same for him to you and for all of us. There's a very big history here of violence against other people, and you need to know what you're getting into before you get into it. Okay? So, but for now, I'm not letting you have any contact with each other. And if he contacts you, he's gonna go back to jail. If you allow him to contact you or you contact him and he gets caught with you, he's gonna go back to jail. So if you don't want him in jail, don't let him contact you. Okay? Thank you. Do you need a public defender, Mr. Quintana? Oh, actually, you did fill out the affidavit. You do qualify.
Yes, I do need that, and I just wanna make sure that you guys see the defendants. I'm not looking that way. I want you to see her neck for yourself.
No,
I can't do that. That's not what we do for today. That comes later. What the state can prove or not prove, I don't know. We're gonna see what the evidence shows. This is about the arrest.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yes,
Thank you.
count 2 is an ROR.
Okay, what she said?
And the next one is Portuguese. Ms. Romero, I know you don't speak Portuguese.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, wait, the clerk is
language
telling
line.
me there's another person. Oh, okay. So should I skip the Portuguese one and keep going with the Spanish and then come back to the Portuguese? No?
We're done with the Spanish.
Oh, that is the end of the Spanish. Oh, okay. Ms. Romero, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All
Have a
right.
good weekend.
You too. See you tomorrow
you.
or hear you tomorrow.
saying there's,
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
Thank you.
maybe there's a Spanish-speaking victim. I don't know if she was.
We'll call back. We'll call back.
For the Spanish?
Hi. Well, the corrections officer out in the waiting room area, in the viewing room area, I think is indicating one of the victims may need a Spanish interpreter.
Okay, so I'll stay on the line, Your Honor. Do we have a name?
I'm trying to find out. Hold on. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay. No problem. Yeah, we're trying to figure this interpreter thing out anyway, so we're okay. That's what she told me. I'm going to be on pause. You all tell me when you're ready to go. Do we know who in the audience needs an interpreter?
¿Sabemos quién en la audiencia necesita intérprete?
Oh, we did it already, yeah. All right. So Ms. Romero, we already handled was that Mr. Argueta?
Okay, thank you.
We already handled his case, and there was nobody in the viewing room at the time that we called this case, so that one's already been passed.
Okay, so am I?
So you're good to go, I
hang up?
think. I believe,
Thank
was
you,
there
Your Honor.
only the one witness who may have needed an interpreter, nobody else?
¿Nadie más necesita intérprete? ¿Ese era el único testigo que necesitaba intérprete?
All right, hold on, the corrections officers are talking. Yep, I think we're good. Thanks, Ms. Romero.
You're welcome, yeah. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, so call back, call.
No, just hang up.
I did.
Oh, okay. So you just switch calls over.
Oh,
Who's the
this one?
That should be on.
Good morning. Is the Portuguese interpreter on the line?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Hi, this is Judge Savage. We're on standby for just a couple of minutes, but we're going to need you in the case of William Correa da Silva. I just didn't want
Okay.
you to stay on hold indefinitely and not know what was happening. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're welcome. I'm not sure if the victim in that case is here, and if does she also need a Portuguese interpreter, or does she speak English? No English? No interpreter. Okay. But, well, she can wait. Not yet, because I have to let them be ready out there. And it'll be just her, not the child. The child should sit. Do we know what happened out there?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Does he need to put the headset on? Does this interpreter use a headset? No? All right, so I'm gonna need the interpreter to really please speak up because it's very hard to hear in here. So, good morning.
Good morning.
We have an interpreter.
Yes, sorry.
Say your name.
William Corrêa da Silva.
All right. And the witness, I'm sorry, can come into the viewing room. If the child, yeah, that's fine. She just has to be quiet. Good morning. All right. So, Mr. Correa, you were arrested for domestic violence battery.
Senhor Correia, o senhor foi preso pelo crime de violência doméstica.
I've read the affidavit and there is probable cause.
Eu li a declaração e existe probabilidade de causa.
The pretrial release office indicates that you have no prior history.
Aqui o certificado diz que você não tem nenhuma história anterior criminal.
I'm going to speak to the lady who is in the witness area.
Eu vou falar com a senhora que está na área das testemunhas.
Ma'am, can you lower your mask and speak straight to the microphone, please?
A senhora poderia, por favor, abaixar um pouco a sua máscara e falar diretamente no microfone?
You are not obligated to say anything, but if you do want to speak, I have to swear you in.
A senhora não tem nenhuma obrigação de falar nada, mas se a senhora quiser falar, eu tenho que ligar o microfone.
Do you want to say something?
A senhora gostaria de falar alguma coisa?
Sim.
Yes.
Okay. You got to speak right to the microphone.
Você tem que falar direto no microfone.
Raise your right hand.
Ok.
Levante a sua mão direita.
Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
Você jura falar a verdade com a ajuda de Deus?
Sim.
Yes.
The interpreter heard her, but I didn't. Okay, what's your name?
Qual o seu nome?
Elisângela.
Elisângela.
Are you William's wife?
Você é a esposa do William?
Sim.
Yes.
Okay, what would you like to tell me, ma'am?
O que você gostaria de dizer, senhora?
And if you're gonna speak in Portuguese, go slow so she can translate for me.
E se você falar em português, fale devagar, para ela poder traduzir para mim.
Ok. O que eu tinha a dizer, o que eu tenho a dizer, que no momento que eu chamei os policiais, eu estava num momento muito estressada, porque ele não tem costume de agir como ele agiu.
At the moment that I called the police officers, I were very stressed out. He usually doesn't act the way he acted.
You can continue.
Pode continuar.
Então, são 9 anos juntos e sempre a gente é eu, ele e minha filha. Não temos família aqui. E eu nunca vi ele daquela forma, eu fiquei assustada. Como eu não sei falar inglês e nem espanhol, fiquei muito confusa no momento. Por isso eu chamei a polícia para poder conter ele, para ele se acalmar.
We've been 9 years together, me, him, and my daughter only. We don't have any extended family here. I have never seen him in that way, so I was very confused, and that's why I called the police to try to calm him down.
Are you in any fear of him? Are you scared that he may hurt you or your daughter?
Você tem algum medo? Você está assustada que ele possa te machucar ou machucar a sua filha?
Não, não. Ele nunca faz isso, como eu disse, ele nunca fez isso. Tudo a gente faz junto. Foi um momento, talvez, de que ele não bebe, ele não tem costume de amizade, somos só a gente. Nunca faria isso. Nunca houve outra briga, nem discussão em casa. Por isso eu fiquei assustada, mas para mim foi muito difícil saber que ele está aqui e só eu e ela sozinha em casa, entende?
No, he never did that. I think it was in that moment. He doesn't drink. He would never do that. Like, we never had another argument or another fight. That's the reason why I was so scared.
If I allow him to come home and he starts to act unusual again and you get scared, what will you do?
Se eu permitir que ele vá para a sua casa e ele começar a se comportar de forma esquisita e você começar a ficar assustada, o que você vai fazer?
Como eu sei que ele não faria isso, porque desde ontem ele ficou aqui, acredito que para ele está sendo até estranho, porque ele não é desse tipo. Mas se isso acontecesse, claro que eu chamaria. Eu tenho que procurar ajuda, até porque eu não tenho família aqui, mas ele não faria isso.
I don't think he would do that because after what happened, he stayed here, and I believe that for him this should be very strange. But I would call definitely if he would do that, I would call for help. But I don't believe he would do that.
I understand, and I'm glad to hear that you recognize that if you need help, you should call.
Eu entendo e estou contente que você reconhece que se você precisar de ajuda, você deverá ligar.
You owe that obligation to yourself and to your daughter.
Você deve essa obrigação a você mesma e à sua filha.
And as you said before, you didn't expect this from him yesterday, so who's to know what could be expected another day?
E como você disse antes, você não esperava isso dele ontem. E quem pode dizer que você não pode esperar isso um outro dia?
We hope for the worst, but you got to be prepared for things to not always go the way we hope.
A gente se prepara às vezes pelo pior, mas a gente também tem que se preparar para momentos em que as coisas aconteçam não da maneira como nós esperamos.
Does the state have any additional questions to ask the witness?
Just one. Ma'am,
Hold on, let the interpreter.
are there any
O-
guns or weapons
promotor
at the
tem-
house?
Há algumas, existem armas de fogo ou armas dentro da casa?
Não, nunca.
No further questions.
Anything from the
No,
public
never.
defenders?
Yes, Your Honor. Ma'am, how long have you been with your husband?
9 years.
And in those 9 years, has anything like this ever happened?
Durante os 9 anos alguma coisa aconteceu?
Não, a gente sempre foi unido, a gente sempre fez tudo junto, como eu te disse. Nunca ele teve esse comportamento e ele não é de beber. Ele é uma pessoa tranquila, a gente nem gosta muito de ir em festa, nada disso.
No, as I said, we very united. We do everything together. He never had this behavior before. He's usually a calm person. We don't like to party. We don't go to parties. Nothing like that.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Pretrial release indicates that he does qualify, so I'm going to PTR him. Ma'am, do you want him to come home?
A senhora quer que ele vá para casa?
Sim, até porque minha filha não dormiu por causa dele, porque ela dorme junto com a gente. Está sendo difícil para a gente, acredito que para ele também.
Yes, my daughter didn't sleep. Usually she sleeps together with us. I think it's hard for him as well and for us too.
So it's going to be PTR with non-hostile contact with the listed victim. May return to the shared residence for so long as the victim desires. Do not possess any weapons or firearms. If the interpreter can translate that for Mr. Correa.
Ok, eu estou então aqui emitindo o que se chama de PTR.
No hostile contact with the victim.
Desde que não haja nenhum contato hostil com a vítima.
But he may return to the home as long as that's what the wife wants as well.
Ele poderá voltar à casa desde que isso seja o que a esposa queira também.
Do not possess any weapons or firearms.
Ele não possui nenhum tipo de arma e nenhuma arma de fogo.
Sir, do you need a public defender?
O senhor precisa de um advogado público?
He said yes.
Yes.
He shook his head yes. Public defender will be appointed provisionally.
O advogado público vai ser designado temporariamente.
Thank you.
Obrigada.
He's going to be released today.
Muito obrigada.
Vai ser liberado hoje.
All right.
Posso fazer mais uma pergunta?
That's all for the. Thank you. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You can leave. Thank you to the Portuguese interpreter.
You're welcome, Your Honor. Thank you for calling Language Line Solutions.
Bye-bye. Do we know what case private counsel is here for? Okay. Arthur Gray, are you Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
All right. Mr. Gray, you were arrested on a warrant, possession of controlled substance, possession of paraphernalia. Bonds are 1,000 count 1 and 100 count 2. That is 20 CF 7979. But you also have a warrant in 20 CF 9431 AO. And those bonds are set at 0. And then you have another warrant in 20 CF 6563 AO. And those bonds are set at 0 and 0. You do qualify for the public defender. PD is appointed.
In your honor, on the warrant for 7979, it says bond or PTR. He does not qualify for a PTR.
Okay, thank you.
And can we remove the PTR?
I can't hear you.
Can we remove the
We can
PTR?
remove the PTR, yep. Thank you, sir. That's me? Brian, oh yeah. We want me to do this one next? Okay. Brian Fay.
Yes,
Hi, are
ma'am.
you Mr. Fay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, appearance of counsel.
Brandon Stewart here on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Brian Fay.
Thank you. Mr. Fay, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I've read the affidavit. There is probable cause. PTR indicates that you have a little bit of a history, but nothing of this nature. More having to do with driving than anything else. Although I did read this police report and it does allege that alcohol was a factor. And I don't know that I saw, no, I wouldn't have seen that. How long have you lived in Orlando or Maitland?
2 years?
Do you have a job?
Yes.
Your Honor, he's a professional accountant.
Okay, thank you. State, do you wish to be heard at all?
No, Judge, I don't see the victim here either.
I don't either. Okay. Bond is going to be set at $1,000 with pretrial release, no contact with listed victim, no return to any shared residence. You may have a one-time assist order to retrieve personal belongings. Do not possess any weapons or firearms. Do not possess or consume any alcohol. If a modification of the contact provision is to be considered, you'll just have to file a motion and have the victim come in to testify.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
James Eller. Good morning, please say your name.
James David Eller.
Thank you. Mr. Eller, you were arrested on a warrant for violation of probation. Your bond is set at 0. You do not qualify for the public defender. So you're going to need to talk to a private attorney, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Daryl Hall.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. Sir, you were arrested for aggravated battery and battery / dating violence. I wanted to ask the state, is there anything in here that you would point out to the court that you think would qualify this for a DV? I was trying to see if there was anything in the police report that talked about the fact that they currently reside together or in the past have resided together as a family. And I didn't really, it says that they're ex-boyfriends and girlfriend, they're on and off, back and forth, but I really didn't see anything that said the familial aspect of it.
I didn't either, and it says they have no kids in common either.
Right.
So it's
Okay,
just a
so you're not
dating-
asking for the court to find PC as a domestic?
No, just a,
The ag bat and the battery dating?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there is PC for those two. But I couldn't find the DV, so I put a question mark. There's one failure to appear according to PTR. History to include contempt of court ×4, ag bat on a pregnant person, and then non-violent related crimes. So your bond in count 1 will be set at $2,000. Your bond in count 2 will be $1,000. You may not have any contact with the listed victim. You must maintain a separate residence. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. You do qualify for the public defender, so the PD's office will be appointed. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. Not domestic, just ag bat. Okay, are you Devontae Hunter?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Hunter, you were arrested for aggravated battery with a firearm, aggravated assault with a firearm, and armed burglary of a dwelling with a firearm. There is probable cause. All bonds are stayed.
Judge, can we be heard on bond?
Sure.
So, in this case, we asked for bond here, Your Honor. There was no handgun actually found in this case. They searched for the gun with negative results. So it's not even present in this case. So,
State, do you wish to be heard?
Yes, Judge, no handgun needs to be recovered. 2 witnesses indicated that there was a handgun involved.
And I would note for the record, there's an allegation that the battery and/or assault was domestic, that the listed victim is a brother.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's domestic ag bat with firearm. Defense argument noted for the record, however, the court's not going to modify the bonds. I'm going to add no contact with victims, no weapons or firearms.
Yes,
And the
Your Honor.
public defender's office is appointed. Thank you.
And no return, Judge?
Well, yeah, he's on count 3 is a PBL, so he's not really at this moment going to have an opportunity. If his bond ends up getting placed by a motion, I guess that judge can consider no return. Jean Lane? Hi, are you Mr. Lane?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Lane, you were arrested for aggravated battery on a pregnant person. This is a domestic violence charge. I've read the affidavit. There is probable cause. Bond is set at $1,000 with pretrial release supervision. No contact with the victim. Maintain a separate residence. And no weapons or firearms. The public defender's office is appointed. Thank you. Anthony Laws.
Medical.
Medical. Okay, Mr. Laws will be reset when he is available. Ramon Ortiz. Hi, are you Mr. Ortiz?
No.
Mr. Ortiz, you were arrested for domestic violence battery with a prior battery and tampering with a witness to hinder communication. There is probable cause. PTR indicates that you've had 4 failures to appear, and
4 failures to appear on what, ma'am?
I have no idea. I'm just reading what they wrote on here. Ag assault with a weapon, domestic battery, strangulation battery on a Leo. Scores high on the risk assessment. All right. Bond in count 1 will be set at $2,500. Count 2 will be $1,000. No contact with the listed victim. No return. Maintain a separate residence. No weapons or firearms. And
Can you get a one-time
sir, you do
return?
qualify for the public defender.
Can you get a one-time return if necessary?
Yes, if appropriate, he may have a one-time assist. But I think it was a motel room, so I don't
Right.
know if the motel, if they've trespassed.
If they
him or not.
reside together elsewhere,
Yeah.
that way you can return.
Thank you.
I'm gonna apply to you, right?
Crystal, Brazil.
No.
They put it all together.
It's Crystal Brazil Tate, ma'am.
Brazil Tate, thank you, Miss Brazil Tate.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Ma'am, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. There is probable cause.
Can I speak to you?
Hold on one second, ma'am. Does not qualify for PTR, 3 failures to appear, previous battery, previous DV. What did you say, ma'am?
I was gonna see if I could talk to you.
Ma'am, you can't really talk to me about the details of the case because anything that you say can be used against you.
Okay.
PD does qualify, so the PD is appointed. It's better that you
Can I
speak
talk
to
to
your
you?
attorney, and then your attorney can file whatever motions are appropriate.
Well, what
Judge, on this one, I mean, she's asking for, she's not PTR eligible, I see that.
Right.
What is bond set in this case?
1,000.
1,000?
I don't have any money. I was gonna ask, I just started a liver treatment. I just started it, and I don't have money to get out at all. I don't have,
Your lawyer's gonna have to file a bond motion, ma'am. That's the bond that I think is appropriate based on what I read in the affidavit.
I can't, there's no way I could get ROR'd.
No, ma'am, not today, not by me. Excuse me? Oh, just no contact, no return, maintain separate residence, no weapons or firearms. Sorry, I thought I said it, but
Where at?
I got interrupted. Baba Dave, medical, Your Honor? Okay, we will reset him when available.
I think there's a victim for him.
Okay. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name?
My name is Reshma Dave, Your Honor.
You're Mr. Dave's sister, right?
Correct.
You're the person who's listed as the victim?
That is correct.
He's in medical, and so they didn't bring him over. His first appearance is going to be reset.
Okay.
If you want, we will definitely notify you when that's going to be reset if you wanted to come in and talk then. Or, I mean, I know that there's some mental health concerns here based on what PTR's
Judge,
information shows.
we can waive,
Do you want to do that?
we can waive it, yeah.
You want to ask to be appointed?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, PD will be provisionally appointed, and they would like to waive first appearance. Okay, so Mr. Dave was arrested for domestic violence battery. His sister is the alleged victim in the police report. PTR did indicate that he's got extensive prior criminal contacts, and that he's been Baker acted and Marchman acted, and that mental health is a concern. So, ma'am, is there anything more that you want to say?
I would.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please lower your hand and then speak really close to the microphone, please.
Okay. What I would like to tell you is 10 years ago, my brother had a very bad accident and he fell on the ice. So he has 2 4-centimeter bleeds on both sides of the brain. So he has no short-term memory. So like for instance, if you speak to him now in 5 minutes, he won't remember. So what happened between he and I he's my best friend, and I'm actually is going to be his guardian after my father. And this was just a stupid altercation. This has never, ever, ever happened before. I love my brother more than anything in the world. And it was just a stupid mistake that happened, and I fell in the process, and that's why it looked really bad. But as you can see, I'm okay. And he's never abused me. He's never hurt me. He's always protected me my whole life. And this was just a big mistake. And I'm just, because he has brain damage and he doesn't remember, so he's under the care of my father right now, and my father's in the parking lot to take him home. And I'm just begging you, because he is handicapped, and we take care of him at home.
I understand. Is he older than you or younger than you?
He's 4 years older than me.
Older than you, okay. And is he ordered by any doctor to take any kind of medication?
And he does regularly.
And the history that comes up when his name is run through the computer is pretty extensive, and there's a lot in his history that shows aggression. So I appreciate that you said he's never done this to you before, but it looks like he's been aggressive and violent elsewhere.
Well, he's always been with my parents from day one, so the last 10 years. Never was he without them, because he can't be, because my father is his guardian. And the aggression that you're seeing is that when he leaves the house, he walks around, and the neighbors complain, and because he if you see him, he looks like there's something wrong with him. So he has never hurt a soul. He's never touched anybody. My mom has Parkinson's, and he takes care of her every single day. And without him in the house, she could fall. And he's just a really good guy. And this was just a big misunderstanding.
What happens if there's another misunderstanding and he comes home and hurts you or one of your parents?
It's never happened before.
But it happened this time.
But this was a mistake,
allegedly.
though. This was a total mistake, because I came out of my room, and when I walked out of my room, I tripped and I went flying into the wall, and then he tried to grab me at that point, and I said, I'm okay. And then my dad called the police thinking that something was going on, but nothing was going on.
And the four of you reside together? Is there anybody else who lives in the house?
My mom, it's just four of us.
Right, four. Mom, dad, you,
Correct,
and your brother.
correct.
All right. State, do you wish to inquire of the witness?
No, Judge.
Defense, do you wish to inquire of the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Ma'am, are you pursuing charges against your brother? Or
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you. Nothing, Your Honor.
He doesn't qualify for PTR? Do you have mental health PTR?
We do have mental health PTR. He will have to be screened to see if he qualifies for that program by the mental health department.
Okay. And he's in medical, so what happens if, they have to clear him from medical first, right? Before he's even turned out, if he gets released, if he's got a bond or
If he gets
PTR
well, it depends what kind of medical he's in, but in my experience, if he's released, if the judge releases him, he gets released.
Okay. I'm unfamiliar with the details of the programs here in Orlando. Let me ask the state attorney if you have any suggestions or recommendations with regard to what the victim has just testified.
Does PTR know, do you think he likely would qualify knowing what you know, or is he's not
It's a separate program. He has to be,
He has to be
interviewed,
screened for mental health
and he
PTR.
first has to be stable medically to be interviewed.
So he won't even be able to be screened because he's in medical right now?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask for him to be screened for mental health PTR to see if he's appropriate to be released under the supervision of that program. If he's not, because he's in medical, then his IA will be reset, and then the judge who will see him at the reset can determine whether it should be an ROR or anything further. Would note for the record that the named victim wishes contact, wishes return, is not in fear. She's testified under oath, and of course may reappear and retestify if she wishes, but we'll have those things on the record for the IA judge to hear if he comes back.
Okay. Did you want to set a bond in the alternative if he doesn't qualify for mental health PTR?
I guess I could set $100 bond, and no hostile contact with the listed victim.
Your Honor, could I mention one thing? I'm sorry.
I can't hear you.
Could I mention one thing? I'm sorry.
That's okay, go ahead.
In his paperwork, as my father is his guardian, he has been deemed incompetent. He is legally deemed incompetent because of his brain injury. And last 3 days, the doctors changed his medication. And we think that something happened in the medication because they changed it. And so now we changed it back. So we're hoping, we know that when he's on his normal medication, everything is totally fine. But when we changed the medication just like on Monday, and we started to see things, so we went back to the regular medication.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm trying to see if he qualifies for a program that we have that would not require him to post any kind of bond whatsoever, and they'll just supervise him with the understanding that he has some mental health concerns.
Okay.
And as long as he stays compliant and stays nonviolent, he'll be able to return to the house.
Okay.
And Judge, if he is legally deemed incompetent, you could release him conditional release. I'm looking to see if there's any past orders or anything on him that have adjudged him incompetent. I'm not aware of any at this time, but he could be released conditionally.
The thing is she's saying legally incompetent for purposes of having a guardian appointed.
Right.
We have a different determination that needs to be
Right.
made, and I don't have proof that that's been made. So step 1 is there, but step 2 is not,
Correct.
and I'm
Yes,
sure
ma'am.
that'll be coming.
My father is his guardian. and
I understand, ma'am. They're two
Oh.
different standards.
Okay.
So thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Will he be able to come home?
Well, once he's
And
out of
Judge-
medical, he's gonna be screened to see if he can be released on this program.
And Judge, he has been found incompetent as recently as he had a case disposed of on January 13th, 2020, due to a finding of incompetence. And as recently as January 13th, I'm not sure what date the order was, but it does look like the case was disposed of on that date.
Well, like I said, mental health PTR, if he qualifies, he has a $100 bond, and the alternative, both of those releases would be no hostile contact with the listed victim and remain compliant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Theodore Dix, hi. Are you Mr. Dix?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you were arrested for battery and resisting without violence. I couldn't find that it was domestic, so
Yes,
it's
Your Honor.
simple bat. PC for simple bat. Having said that, there is no significant history that PTR has been able to find. Okay. And there's nobody in the witness room. All right. Mr. Dix, based on what I read in this affidavit, your bond in count 1 is going to be set at $1,000. Your bond in count 2 is going to be set at $1,000. With pretrial release, you may not contact the listed victim. You have to maintain a separate residence, and you will not possess any weapons or firearms. And the
Okay.
public defender's office will be appointed. Thank you.
Do you need to return to get your things, or is there any of them that are not going to?
Nicole Garcia. Please state your name, ma'am.
Nicole Garcia.
Thank you. Ms. Garcia, you were arrested for battery. There is probable cause for battery. It came in as a dating violence, but there is no allegation of a domestic violence, so it's PC for battery. PTR says you don't have any history, so that's always a good thing. I see a witness in the witness stand. Sir, would you like to say anything?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Please tell me your name.
Richard Rios.
Mr. Rios, you're the person who's listed in the paperwork as the victim, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to say? Just speak close to the mic.
I would just like to say I want to keep contact with Nicole. We have been together for 5 years. Also, I was not the person who called the police. I do not believe she should be in this position. I fought with the cops that whole Friday night that we should be able to leave that night. There is no problems between us, and that's what I'd like to say.
Are you scared of her in any way?
No, ma'am.
Do you want to have contact with her?
Yes, ma'am.
State, do you wish to inquire?
No, Judge.
Anything from the public defenders?
Yes, sir, are you planning on pursuing charges against Ms. Garcia?
No, sir.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Based on what I read in the affidavit, even before I heard what he had to say, she qualifies for PTR, so I'm going to release her with pretrial release. I'm going to order no hostile contact with the listed victim, and I'm going to order no alcohol. And I know the allegations were supposedly that he had a lot to drink, but that you all were out drinking, which sometimes can get out of hand. I don't know if that's the situation, but for now, to keep everybody, you know, behaving the right way, just don't possess or consume any alcohol. Okay? But you're going to be released, pretrial release. And you do qualify for the public defender, so the PDs are appointed to represent you. All right, thank you. Remind me to tell you all something late when we're done. Jeremy Nunez?
His behavior.
All right. Do the public defenders represent Mr. Nunez in 20 CF 11249?
I didn't make
Yes?
a note of.
All right,
oh,
PDs
we
are
did.
appointed in
Okay.
11249 already. Do you wish to be appointed in?
Yes, Your Honor.
The new case?
Yes, Your Honor, we can waive.
All right. So the public defenders are appointed in the new law charge. He was arrested for violation of PTR condition on a domestic case. The court finds probable cause. Bond in that case will be set at $1,000 with no contact with victim. Bond in 20 CF 11249 AO will be revoked and set at 0.
And just ask for a one-time return in that case if necessary.
Well, yeah, but he's got to first get out on the one I just revoked,
Right.
though.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. All right. And Glorilis Rosado?
Yes.
Ms. Rosado, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I read the affidavit. There is probable cause. Your bond is going to be set at $500 with pretrial release. No contact with the victim. No return to any shared residence. One-time assist if applicable. No weapons or firearms. And the public defender's office is appointed. Thank you. 5, yeah. Carlos Torres. Hello, sir, please state your name.
Carlos Torres.
Thank you. Mr. Torres, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I've read the affidavit. There is probable cause. PTR says you don't have any significant history. You don't have a history. Not even a significant or insignificant one. No history. Okay. Ma'am, would you like to say anything? All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please lower your hand and say your name.
Nicole Herrera.
Ms. Herrera, you're the person who's listed in the report as the victim, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what would you like to say?
This isn't the first time something like this happened. This is just the first time I was able to get any help. There is a child involved. I would like no contact until we resolve this, and then we can get some kind of arrangement for him to see the child.
Did you say you don't want contact?
No contact.
Okay.
Unless it's about the child.
Understood. State, do you have any questions?
Are you planning on staying at the house, or are you planning on moving?
It's my apartment. I did have his stuff taken out and taken to his mom's house. There shouldn't be anything that he needs at this moment.
Okay. Okay.
Does the defense wish to inquire? The public defender's office is appointed.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ma'am, can I ask you, I heard what you said about the no contact, and that's fine. Do you have any concern that if I don't put extra restrictions that he may come after you or come bother you or?
He's made threats on my family and myself as well. Every time I tell him that we're better off not together for the sake of the child, because we'll be best for him if we're not together. He makes threats, says that he's gonna cause a commotion, that he's gonna leave, making a scene. He did have a weapon that he has pointed at me before. He's put his hands on me before. This wasn't the first time. So those are the concerns of mine.
Thank you for that information. At this time, bond will be set at $1,000 with pretrial release. No contact with listed victim except text or written as it pertains to their child. Because texts and written communication can be proved in court if it says anything other than something about the child. You may not go within 1,000 feet of where she lives or where she works, and you may not have any contact with her immediate family members either. Do not possess any weapons or firearms. And she's indicated for the record that all of his belongings have already been delivered to his mother's house, so there's no need to return for an assist. Thank you. Elliot Vargas.
Good
Good afternoon,
Your
sir.
Honor.
Please say your name.
Elliot Vargas, Your Honor.
Mr. Vargas, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I've read the affidavit. There is probable cause. You do not qualify for PTR. Your bond is going to be set at $1,000. No contact with the victim. Maintain a separate residence. One-time assist is permitted with law enforcement. And no weapons or firearms.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, sir? PD is appointed. I'll just start signing them now. We're okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Roberto Baez Pacheco?
Yes.
Are you Mr. Baez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Baez, you were arrested for driving under the influence and possession of heroin. There is probable cause. I've read the affidavits and I've reviewed the PTR sheet and your driving record. Your bond in the DUI will be set at $1,000. No driving without a valid license. The bond in the heroin possession will be $1,000. No possession of drugs or alcohol. And you do qualify for the public defender.
And he also qualifies for PTR.
So those conditions will be supervised by pretrial release.
Plus the bonds.
Excuse me?
Plus the bonds.
Plus bonds.
Okay.
PTR plus bonds, yeah. Thank you. I started signing these and then I got a little bit too happy. Overconfident. Kenneth Deckel? Okay, let me take a look at what he has. Mr. Deckel has some previous open cases, 20 CF 9244.
And the PD's appointed both of the, on at least two other cases of his.
All right, are you asking to be appointed on the new charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you going to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Deckel was arrested for possession of meth. There is possession of MDMA greater than 10 grams. The total weight alleged in the affidavit, 11 grams. So bond will be stayed, and then bonds in 20 CF 9244 and 9243 will be revoked and set at 0. Thank you. Brianna Edwards. Good morning, or good afternoon. Are you Miss Edwards?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ma'am, you were arrested for possession of meth, tampering with evidence, possession of paraphernalia, and then you have a city ordinance violation being in the park after hours. There is probable cause. You're out on bond in 20 CF 5980. So all your bonds for your new law will be stayed. You have 1,000, 150, 100, and 250, and your bond in 20 CF 5980 will be revoked. The public defender's office is appointed. Thank you.
I'm also the attorney in the other case, will be attached.
It's all this paperwork. Christelle Murthel?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, you were arrested for a warrant on failure to appear. There are 3 counts. The judge who issued the failure to appear set your bond at 0, so you're not going to be able to post bond on this. You do qualify for the public defender.
Your Honor, may I be heard on this?
Sure.
Ms. Myrtle is pregnant, so she's got, Ms. Myrtle's pregnant, so there is a extenuating circumstance here. We'd ask that she have bond set in this case.
I'm not going to change another judge's FTA bond. You can file a motion in front of that judge and see if he or she's willing to reduce or take those considerations.
Yes, Your Honor. We'll file a motion, okay? A motion will be filed for you to get bond.
Kelly Ann Nareen? Please say your name.
Kelly Ann Noreen.
Thank you. Ms. Nareen, you were arrested for fleeing and eluding, possession of paraphernalia, and possession of marijuana. I've read the affidavit. There is probable cause. The fleeing and eluding will be set at $2,500. The paraphernalia, yes?
The state has no objection to ROR on the paraphernalia and possession of cannabis.
I have a...
Okay, state, may I hear you say that?
Judge, no objection to ROR on 20 mm 8649.
But for the record, there is PC, but it's going to be an ROR as her release status. It's not because it's an ROR without finding PC. I just want the record to be clear.
It's just pursuant to our bond policy.
That's fine. And then the public defender's office is appointed.
That's for both of us, correct?
For the MM case, yes. Thank you. Sean Michael Perry? Good afternoon, Mr. Perry. You don't qualify for the public defender.
All right.
You were arrested for possession of fentanyl, possession of paraphernalia, resisting without violence. There is probable cause. Looks like you're out in 19 CF 3764 and 3765. Those are also drug charges. So your new bonds will be stayed. It's 1,000, 100, and 100. And your bond in the 2 cases that you're out is going to be revoked and set at 0. Yep, he has 19 CF 3764. Consolidated, okay. I saw 2 case numbers. Thank you. All right, Eric Quintana Rivera.
We weren't appointed on this case.
Yeah, PDs aren't appointed, he didn't qualify. The clerk didn't find him qualified.
This way.
It's like this is gonna make me do something. And then looks away and then looks at me. That don't work with my husband, it's not gonna work with you. Good afternoon, sir. Please say your name for me.
Good afternoon, Eric Quintana.
Thank you. Mr. Quintana, you're here for first appearance. You were arrested for sale or delivery of fentanyl, possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, and resisting without violence. There is probable cause. Your bonds will be stayed. So it's 15,000 count 1, 150 count 2, 100 count 3. You do qualify for the public defender. The public defender's office will be appointed. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Melanie Richardson.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, please say your name.
Melanie Richardson.
Thank you. Ms. Richardson, you were arrested on a warrant that had to do with supposedly a failure to appear. So the judge who ordered that set your bond at $2,500, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
There's another case here, but let me just see if it's the same one or not.
It's a different one.
20 CF 10851. There's 20 CF 34780. I'm not sure what that detail is about. The one that's the FTA, I don't know what the conditions of the release will be. I'm not going to take any action on 20 CF 34780, and I'm going to let the FTA judge decide what to do with that one. And the public defender is appointed on the new charge.
And she also has a burglary case.
Uh-oh, hold on. She also what?
Has a burglary and criminal
another
mischief.
warrant?
No, it's a PC.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
It's a warrant, I'm sorry.
Okay. it's stapled to this, so I thought it was this. There's a second warrant, I'm sorry. So for the record, warrant for burglary, unoccupied structure, criminal mischief, those have bonds as well, set by the judge issuing the warrant, $5,000 and $100. So you've got two cases that you can set bonds on, and then you've got one that I'm not revoking because I don't know where it fell within the warrants.
I don't know the
And there are conditions of no contact, no return on the burglary. I'll let the state decide if they want to file a motion to revoke the pretrial release and that. It's just, they don't give me all the details of like chicken and egg and what came first.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not evident from the details. Danny Honorato?
Yes.
Is that you? Mr. Honorato, you're here because you were arrested for DUI with property damage. There is probable cause.
Your Honor, he already bonded on this case. He's just
And
waiting.
you've already bonded. He doesn't qualify for the public defender. Just make sure that you don't drive until you know that you have a valid license, but because of this charge, the DMV may have already suspended you, okay?
Your Honor.
So do not drive because you'll get into trouble if you do.
Yes.
All right, thanks. You're bond pending, so you're good. Marielsi Soler Mercado? Soler Mercado?
That's her, Your Honor.
Is that you? Hi, you can come up to the, oh, wait. Nothing in English?
A little bit.
A little bit, okay. Let's try, and you tell me if you don't understand, okay?
Your Honor, the PD does represent Ms. Soler Mercado on this case.
Okay, it's a warrant for failure to appear, and she has a $2,000 bond.
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask to be heard on the bond if we could lower it. It's
I'm not
it's driving
gonna-
while license suspended.
I'm sorry, say that again?
The driving while license suspended is the underlying charge here.
Right, but it's an FTA.
No, I understand, Your Honor.
I'm not gonna change another judge's bond. If that judge would have known what the charge was when the FTA order was issued, so you can file a motion.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. PD is appointed. Did you understand that, ma'am? Yes? Okay, go back to the microphone. Tell me what you don't understand.
What happened now?
You have to put the money to bond,
Okay.
okay? You have a fianza.
Okay, thank
All right,
you.
thank you. Takamari Thomas?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry if I said
No,
that
it's to
wrong.
Camry. You almost had it though.
Camry.
You was close.
You know why? Because my brain starts trying to pronounce everything in Spanish, but not everybody's Spanish. So I'm
You was
sorry,
close,
Miss
though.
Thomas.
You're fine.
I apologize. Okay, so Miss Thomas, you have 2 warrants here for failure to appear. The judge who ordered those warrants gave you bonds of $2,000 in each. You have other cases that you have open. I don't know the details of those cases, as previously explained to the state and the defense on another person. I'm not revoking those other bonds, so you're just gonna need to get with your lawyer and figure out how you're gonna handle all of these.
Okay.
The public defender's office is appointed, and you gotta post bond on the 2 failures to appear.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Jonathan Walters?
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Walters, you were arrested for battery. I've read the affidavit, there is probable cause. I'm gonna set your bond at $500. What was that? I don't think I have a PTR sheet on him. Did I stick it to the back of that? I'm sorry, give me 1 sec. Doesn't qualify for PTR. Does it, what about PTR with bond?
He's on state probation.
Oh, hold that thought. Where is the state probation?
It's in Orange County.
Judge, would you consider mental health PTR if he's eligible in this case?
Possibly, but we have a fly in the ointment. So he's on state probation.
Okay.
And the new battery charge violates his probation, so it's an on-view VOP. But I need PTR to please tell me the case number.
The case number for his probation is 2004-182.
2004.
182.
2082?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a 2004 case?
I can't look it up. But
Is it a, well, it has to be a CF if it's a state probation. While she's looking that up, just for purposes of complete record, the battery charge will be mental health PTR if qualified, no contact, no return to shared residence, or 500.
he's gonna be disqualified for the mental health PTR because he's on state probation and he's a violent offender. That's gonna
He's
automatic.
VFOSC?
Yes.
Okay. So he won't, I'll stick with the original bond that I was gonna put, which was 500, no contact, maintain separate residence, but I find an on-view violation of probation. And so I'm remanding him in the probation case and temporarily setting his bond at 0. For the record, he is VFOSC, and so the jail they're aware of that. And the public defender's office will be appointed, and I'll let you all figure out if there's any other concern that you're gonna have to bring up pretty quickly.
And the case number was 2020 CF 00418280.
418280, 20 CF 418280. All right, thank you. I apologize. I had heard a noise, and I thought, and he said it right after I said $500 bond. I thought he was excited, like, yay, I got a $500 bond. I didn't look up, and so as I started talking more, I think I observed what you started to observe and realized that something else is happening.
Right.
So. Hannah Froelich?
Medical?
Medical, okay. She is on a Polk County warrant. The public defenders will be provisionally appointed. Would you like for her to be reset or waived?
No, we can waive this one.
All right, so she's got a VOP out of Polk County. Her bond is set at 0. If she's not transported, I'm sure you all will, somebody here will call, I think Judge Carter. Judge Carter calls? Okay. PDs have waived her appearance. She's in medical. And then we have Vidiana Brown.
Reviews?
Okay. Miss Brown, this is the lady from yesterday that we reset her.
And there is a notification of mental health on here, Judge, and I see that she's also in Lima dorm, so it's likely mental health.
Okay. So then, with that information, the court will not require that she go and be brought. I'll be honest with you, in Osceola, when they refuse, I make them be brought down. And oftentimes I tell them, I don't care if you bring them in Superman style, bring them in. And because I don't typically feel like people have the right to say, no, I don't want to go see the judge. I'm ordering them. But if this lady is suffering from mental health issues, I'm not going to go that route. And, all right, so does the defense wish to be provisionally appointed?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you waiving her appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so she is waived and her bond will be stayed and she does not have to be reset. There is probable cause. And then we have Goodwin Ain.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Ain.
How you doing?
Sir, you were arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession of marijuana, and then on-view violation of probation. There is probable cause. All bonds will be stayed, so it's 1,000 on the methamphetamine, 100 on the marijuana, or does the state want me to ROR on the marijuana?
It doesn't make sense, it doesn't matter, ROR is fine
Okay,
on the marijuana.
but there is PC, so 1,000 on count 1, ROR on count 2, and 0 on the VOP. The public defender's office is appointed. Thank you, sir. Irving Peña Molina.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, are you Mr. Peña?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Peña, it looks like you were arrested for violation of probation. It's a warrant. And the judge who issued that warrant set your bond at 0, so you don't have a bond. The public defender's office is appointed. Thank you.
there's no way I'll be able to get a bond today?
No.
No? Okay, thank you.
Leptune Prinville. Good afternoon. Please say your name.
Leptune, Prinville.
Thank you. Mr. Prinville, you were arrested for, I'm sorry, one sec. Is there an underlying new arrest? Like, how did he get on, oh, there it is. It was stapled to the back. I was like, how did he get on anybody's radar? Possession of a weapon, of a concealed weapon by a convicted felon. And so there is probable cause. You're also on probation, so there's probable cause for violation of probation. The bond in the weapon charge will be stayed. The bond will be ordered to be temporarily surrendered, and the VOP will be 0. And it doesn't look like the clerk made a determination, but based on what you wrote in here, the court will find that you qualify for the public defender and the PD is appointed. Thank you, sir. What's today? 12/6? So I signed that for you. That's this too. Christopher Nahart?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, so, Mr. Nahart, you were arrested for possession of an open container of alcohol in public. According to PTR, you just had a conviction for open container on November the 14th. I've read the affidavit. There is probable cause. I know this is a pleable. I don't know if he's interested, but my offer's 5 days with credit for whatever he's got, which is probably going to be 2.
Yes, he has 2 days, Your Honor.
So he doesn't have to plead if he doesn't want to, but he can.
He indicated he'd like to accept, Your Honor.
All right, can we give him a plea form to review? In Osceola, the IAs are streamed. Are they streamed here online? Can people log in and see? Do you ever get any indication that there are people who like to do that? Are there people who stream, do you know?
Oh, no,
Technology, huh? I'm assuming they can see me, but can they see anybody else in the courtroom? Do they see the defendants? And what about the victims? No? Do they hear the victims? That'd be interesting because I have a hard time hearing them. Did you already review the form?
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
you a speed reader?
Pretty much.
Back when I was a kid, there was a course called the Evelyn Woods speed reading class. Do you remember that?
That'd be the one.
You took it?
I
That
took
would've
part of
helped
it.
me in school.
I didn't finish it.
Where are you from, sir?
Philadelphia.
Philly?
Uh-huh.
All right. So can you please raise your right hand for me? Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please lower your hand. Mr. Nahart, did you have an opportunity to read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand the rights that are in that paper?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions for me?
Not really.
Do you need any more time to review the form?
No.
Do you feel like anybody forced you to make the decision that you've made today?
No.
Are you acting under the influences of any medications, drugs, or alcohol?
No.
If you are not a U.S. citizen, entering a plea would be used as a basis to have you deported. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, I will appoint one for you if you qualify. By going forward with your plea today, we're going to resolve your case today, which means there won't be more time to talk to a lawyer. Are you okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead?
No contest or whatever.
State, if we proceeded to trial, would you be able to show that on December 5th in Orange County, Florida. This defendant was knowingly in possession of an open container of an alcoholic beverage while in public.
Yes, Judge.
So, Mr. Nahart, I find that you are alert, that you're intelligent, that you understand that your plea is freely and voluntarily entered, and that I have a sufficient factual basis and I will accept it. Does the state wish to be heard?
No, Judge.
All right, at this time, Mr. Nahart, it'll be an adjudication of guilt, 5 days in the county jail with credit for 270. What are the court costs?
Are you playing the PD?
No,
223.
223, and court costs payable within 365 days. You have 30 days to appeal your sentence. All appeals must be in writing, and if you cannot afford a lawyer, I'll appoint one if you qualify. Good luck, sir.
Okay.
Sophia Perez? Hi, are you Miss Perez?
Hi, yes.
Okay. All right, Miss Perez, you were arrested for disorderly conduct,
Yes.
and you do qualify for the public defender.
And she's actually posting her bond.
She posted, she's bond pending?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. That means somebody's in the process of posting your bond right now.
Okay.
So there is probable cause, and the bond will be stayed, and it's about to be posted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you need me to sign this? Okay. You pass it to me, I keep passing it back to you. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was something I forgot to push all the way over there. Arnold Sessom?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mr. Sessom.
How you doing?
Sir, you were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. State, any objection to an ROR in this case?
No, Judge.
Mr. Sessom, do you need a public defender?
No, ma'am, I'm guilty.
Do you want to go ahead and plead to this now and not have to come back at all?
Be nice, save the court to go on money and compensate.
Sir?
Be nice. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, if you plead guilty today, the court will give you credit time served.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is that something you're willing to do? All
You will see me again.
right, so we'll give you the plea form to read.
So, I'm guilty. I'm guilty, ma'am.
You ready to go?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, can you please, sir, raise your right hand for me? Do you swear to tell the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Please lower your hand. Say your name.
Arnold Wayne Sessom, Jr.
Mr. Sessom, did you have enough time to read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Do you understand the rights in that paper?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Do you feel like anybody forced you to make the decision that you made?
No, ma'am.
Are you acting under the influences of any types of medications, drugs, or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
If you are not a U.S. citizen, entering a plea would be used as a reason to have you deported. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have the right to have a lawyer. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, I will appoint one if you qualify. By entering into this plea today, we're going to resolve your case right now, which means there won't be time to talk to a lawyer later. Are you okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
And I heard you say several times that you're guilty on December 5th, 2020 in Osceola County, Orange County, Florida.
I got 3 quarters in a bucket for getting gas.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in the roadway accepting or soliciting donations or money or?
Yes, ma'am. I was asking for change for gas. I was on the side of the road, but in the roadway. Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything further the state needs to have for the record?
No, Judge.
At this time, sir, I find that you are alert, that you're intelligent, that you understand that your plea is freely and voluntarily entered, and that I have a sufficient factual basis, I will accept it. Be an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, 223, and court costs payable within 365 days. You have 30 days to appeal your sentence. All appeals must be in writing, and if you cannot afford a lawyer, I'll appoint one if you qualify. Good luck, sir. Please stay out of trouble.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. And John Welter. We don't charge these as disorderly in Osceola. We have like a violation of public roadway, that's what we call them. So it's a little bit clearer because this is disorderly to me, it's like somebody starting a fight or acting out. Good afternoon. Please say your name.
John Welcher.
Thank you. Mr. Welter, you were arrested for disorderly conduct. There is probable cause. It says here that you were just recently convicted of this on October 29th, 2020. If you want to plead guilty today and enter a plea to the bench, the court would sentence you to 5 days with credit for 2. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You're under no obligation to plea in any way, shape, or form, but this is a pleable offense at first appearances if you're interested in it. Otherwise, you have a bond. Do you want to take some friendly advice from the public defender?
Would you repeat the offer, Judge?
Friend of the court, 5 days with credit for 2.
What was the bond say that, Judge?
250, I think, is what it says on here.
It's 250, yeah.
He's got failures to appear. That's probably pertinent. I'm hungry. Do you need this? Okay. Yesterday, the clerk asked me for it, and I almost dropped it on the interpreter's head. You know why I didn't know the back of it had little feet? When I went to grab it, the feet got stuck, and it fell, but it was empty. Today's the 6th. It's the second day. So it'll be 3 more days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He'll be out on Wednesday. Mr. Welter, if you're really not sure, then I would suggest that you not enter into a plea. You need to make sure that you know what you want, and I don't want you to feel confused or conflicted or not clear.
The gentleman before him was released, correct, Your Honor?
Excuse me?
The gentleman before him was released, correct?
The gentleman before him had no previous convictions for this. Yeah, this one, yeah, Mr. Welter was just convicted of this same exact crime in the end of October, and he's got a history where the gentleman before him had nothing.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so it appears Mr. Welter has some significant questions. I
Yes,
think
Your
that he would best be suited by having time to speak to the public defender.
Yes,
So
Your Honor.
PD will be appointed
No, I'll
and bond will be stayed.
All right, he says it'll take the 5 days now, Your Honor.
Mr. Welter, I don't want you to do something you don't know you should do. You should talk to your lawyer.
I can't talk to him. My lawyer, no. He's the one who'll be bonding me out, but I can't talk to him now. He said he would, but I can't. I don't know what's going on with his
Okay, all right, I'm not going to accept a plea then, because he's conflicted, and I don't want to be accused of
no,
taking a plea
I'll
under
take
duress.
5 days.
Thank you.
I'd like to take 5 days.
I just said she won't take it.
All right, we are adjourned. Well, I don't need to do this at all anymore in this one, right? Because it records from here. And leave it on Osceola? Okay. Yesterday I didn't hear that feedback. And I don't see a video. I don't see my video.
You called them?
Yeah. Yeah, they're on the line. That's why this yesterday. Can you all hear me at Osceola? Hi, I can neither see you nor see that I have my own video going. And our TV has not turned on, which typically it turns on once you guys connect. Yeah, me neither. Welcome to the weekend. Hold on, let me see. That's me. That's you. Are you still there? Okay. And you don't see my video, right? Oh, you do see me. Okay, hold on. Let me hang up and call you right back and see if that makes a difference. All right, thank you.
What about on?
All right, looks like it's pretty much the same.
Makes it easy then.
There might be. All right. Well, I mean, I guess we can do it this way, as long as you all can hear me and see me, and the public defender in Osceola can confirm to me, whoever it is that's standing at the podium, that should be okay. I don't know what else to do. This is not the system that we use in Osceola, so I'm not really. I barely know the one we use. So, all right. Okay, thanks. So good morning to everybody in Osceola. I'm Judge Yansevich. You're here for your initial appearances. When I call your name, I need you to come up to the microphone, the one that's closest to the wall. I'm going to tell you the reason why you were detained, whether or not there's probable cause for that detention, and then I will tell you what your conditions of release will be, if any. We don't have your next court dates for weekend jail, but you will get those down the line. Whatever your release is going to be or not be, you will get court dates eventually. The most important thing to do would be to make sure you keep in touch with either your lawyer or the clerk's office so that if you get out of jail, you don't miss your court date. If you were arrested on an out-of-county warrant, that bond is set by the judge who issued the warrant in the other county. If you were arrested on any warrant, I don't have to review the probable cause. The judge who issued the warrant determined there was enough probable cause to sign the warrant. I typically don't change other judges' bonds unless it comes in as the type of case where temporarily it can be set at a zero, but then I'm obligated to consider a bond, and of course I will consider one and set one that I think is appropriate. You are being recorded. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, the court will appoint one for you if you qualify. Appearances from the state.
Lisa Gonguerrero for the state judge.
And for the public defenders in Osceola County. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And we had Mr. Barrero here in person yesterday. How do they do that when they don't show up in person? Well, just call. On this? Mm-hmm. Where do I do add? Uh-huh. Okay. And there's somebody on standby? It should be. Okay. The first person would be Jose Berrios. Does he need the interpreter? Okay, so we're calling for the interpreter to add the line now.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Dalia Romero's interpreter on the line, not sworn in yet.
Thank you. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that you will and truly interpret from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your training and experience?
Yes, I do. Dalia Romero, state certified Spanish interpreter.
I'm trying to figure out, Ms. Romero, can you see me?
I can see you, Your Honor.
I can't see any videos. I can't see my own, and I can't see the jail.
I actually can see you on my screen, and I can see the Osceola County.
All right, so it's something on this end. It's something to do with the video connection on this end. Okay, well, we're going to do our best. The first person we've identified is Jose Berrios Martinez. And Mr. Johnson, can you tell me when he's at the podium, please? Okay. Can the interpreter ask if Mr. Berrios can hear him, please? Her.
Señor Berrios Martínez, ¿puede escuchar la intérprete? ¿Usted puede escuchar la intérprete? Yes.
Okay. Sir, can you please say your name?
Díganos su nombre, por favor, señor. José Manuel Berríos Martínez.
Mr. Barrios, you were arrested for domestic violence battery.
Señor Berríos, usted fue arrestado por violencia doméstica, agresión.
I've read the affidavit and there is probable cause.
Yo he leído la affidavit y hay causas que respaldan la acusación.
And I'm sorry, I forgot to ask, is there somebody from PTR in Osceola there too?
Permítanme preguntar si hay alguien del programa de libertad preventiva en Osceola. Sí. Sí, su señoría, tenemos al oficial Pat Hill del programa de libertad.
Thank you. Ms. Hill, do you have any history on Mr. Barrios?
Le pregunta si tiene historial del señor Berríos. Un momento. Él aparentemente tuvo un caso de no haber tenido una licencia válida en el 2016, donde se suspendió el dictamen de culpabilidad, pero no tiene nada más. Tuvimos contacto con la víctima y la víctima ha pedido que se le permita tener contacto con él y que se le permita regresar.
Ms. Hill, the risk assessment sheet says he doesn't qualify for direct PTR, but does he qualify with bond?
La página aquí dice que él no es elegible para libertad preventiva directa, pero con fianza. Sí, es cierto, señoría.
Bond will be set at $500 with pretrial release supervision.
La fianza va a ser de $500 con supervisión del programa de libertad preventiva.
Do not possess or consume alcohol.
No vaya a poseer ni consumir alcohol.
For the time being, there will be no contact with the listed victim, no return to the shared residence.
Por el momento, no va a poder tener contacto con la alegada víctima y no puede regresar a la vivienda que compartían juntos.
Sir, do you need a public defender?
Señor, ¿usted necesita el defensor público? What is that, a defender?
Do you need a court-appointed lawyer?
Si necesita que se le designe un abogado de la corte. Yes.
PD will be appointed provisionally.
Provisionalmente se le designa el defensor público.
He may have a one-time assist order to retrieve personal belongings.
Se le permite recibir una orden de poder regresar a la vivienda una sola vez a retirar sus artículos personales, acompañado de un oficial de la ley.
Thank you, that is all.
Gracias, eso es todo.
Mr. Johnson, Joel Calendar's next. Does he need an interpreter?
No, Your Honor, the next one alphabetically would be Donnie Gonzalez.
Okay, so let's go to that one. Kadani Cruz Gonzalez. Sir, please say your name.
Señor, por favor, díganos su nombre. Kidani Cruz González.
Sir, you were arrested for fleeing and eluding and operating a motorcycle without the proper endorsement.
Señora, usted se le acusa de haberse dado a la fuga y haber operado un vehículo, una motora sin la registración o el permiso adecuado.
There is probable cause.
Hay causas que respaldan esta acusación.
How long have you lived in Kissimmee?
¿Cuánto tiempo lleva usted viviendo en Kissimmee? About 6 months.
Where'd you live before that?
¿Y dónde vivía usted antes de eso? Puerto Rico.
Do you have family here?
¿Usted tiene parientes aquí? Brothers.
Are you intending to stay in Kissimmee or are you going to be leaving?
¿Es su intención quedarse en Kissimmee o se va a estar retirando yendo del área? ¿Piensa quedarse en Kissimmee o piensa irse? Yes, here in Kissimmee.
All right. Bond will be set at $1,000 count one, $100 count two, with pretrial release.
Bien, la fianza es de $1,000 en la primera causa, $100 en la segunda causa y tiene que estar participando del programa de libertad preventiva.
Do you need a public defender?
¿Necesita el defensor público? Yes.
PD will be appointed provisionally.
Provisionalmente se le designa el defensor público.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Who's next in Spanish, Mr. Johnson?
Next one would be Jonathan Gonzalez Marvelo.
Thank you. He has 2 cases. Thank you. Sir, please say your name.
Señor, por favor, díganos su nombre. Jonathan González.
Sir, you were arrested for reckless driving,
Señor, usted fue arrestado por manejar sin temeridad,
driving with a suspended license with knowledge,
manejar con la licencia suspendida con conocimiento
and giving a false name or ID
y haber dado un nombre falso o identificación.
There is probable cause.
Hay causas que respaldan esta acusación.
The reckless driving will be stated 1,000.
La acusación de manejar sin temeridad, la fianza es de 1,000.
The suspended will be 100.
Manejar con la licencia suspendida son 100.
The false ID will be 1,000.
Y la identificación falsa, la fianza es de 1,000.
Do you need a public defender?
¿Usted necesita el defensor público? Yes.
PD will be appointed provisionally.
Provisionalmente se le designa el defensor público.
Thank you.
Gracias.
And the 4th one, Mr. Johnson?
The Alfredo Torres.
Thank you. Alfredo Torres. Thank you.
Alfredo Torres.
Sir, please say your name.
Señor, por favor, díganos su nombre. Alfredo Torres.
Mr. Torres, you were arrested for possession of paraphernalia and possession of a controlled substance.
Señor Torres, usted fue arrestado por tenencia de una sustancia controlada y accesorios para el uso de drogas.
Sorry, I've read the affidavit. There is probable cause.
Yo he leído la affidavit acusatoria y hallo que hay causas que respaldan la acusación.
Bond in count 1 will be set at $100.
En la primera causa, la fianza es de $100.
Bond in count 2 will be stayed at 1,000.
La segunda acusación, la fianza es de 1,000.
And I'm a little confused. It says he's out on bond in 20 CT 1432, but I thought I had an FTA warrant on him on that.
Estoy un poquito confundida. Aparentemente estaba bajo fianza en el 20 CT 1432, pero acá tengo como que hay una orden de detención por ese caso.
PTR, is there a capias for him also already that you see in benchmark?
La juez le está preguntando a el Departamento de Libertad Preventiva si ven que hay una orden de arresto ya vigente.
Or if the state sees it, because I don't have my computer. Got it.
Por no haber compadecido, fue arrestado el 19 de noviembre y salió el 23 bajo fianza.
Understood. So he got charged with the no valid, arrested, bonded, failed to appear, arrested, bonded.
Sí. La juez ha dicho que fue arrestado por manejar sin la licencia. El 19 volvió a ser arrestado por no haberse presentado en corte y volvió a salir bajo fianza.
Yes, Ms. Hill?
Él no fue arrestado originalmente en el caso de manejar sin una licencia válida. Fue que él no se presentó en corte. Ahí fue cuando emitieron la orden de arresto y ahí fue que él fue arrestado y salió bajo fianza.
Understood. All right. So the bonds in the new law arrest will stay as I've previously announced.
Bien, entonces las fianzas en los nuevos casos se mantienen igual que lo que ya he dicho.
I'm not going to revoke the bond on the CT case.
Yo no voy a revocarle la fianza en el caso CT.
Sir, do you need a public defender?
Señor, ¿usted necesita un defensor público? Yes.
PD will be appointed.
Bien, se le designa el defensor público.
Make sure you don't miss your court dates.
Asegúrese que no vaya a fallar a sus fechas de corte.
Thank you.
No, gracias.
¿Quién más en español? Anybody else, Mr. Johnson? All right. Ms. Romero, when I start orange, are you also going to be doing those?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll call you back when we get to the end of the Osceolas.
Perfect. Thank you,
Thank
Your
you.
Honor. Yes.
All right, Joel Calendar. I pulled this one out of order by mistake, so hopefully I don't mess it up. I would assume it goes here, but it might be out of order. Okay, sir, please say your name. Thank you. Mr. Calendar, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I've read the affidavit and there is probable cause. PTR, any other history? Okay. Bond in this case will be set at $500 with pretrial release, no contact with listed victim, no return to any shared residence, may have an assist order one time, no possession or consumption of any alcohol. Okay?
There's nothing in the affidavit that indicated that the alleged suspect strangulation will be alleged victim. Simply that there was an alleged suspect strike, but nothing against the alleged victim.
For the record, it states in the police report the victim's recount was that he was shoved, and the court would consider that the word shoved may indicate that it was a forceful, violent touching. State, do you wish to hear anything more? Or say anything more?
Point that she called 911.
He. Right? Yeah. And somebody called 911.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Argument noted for the record. Do you need a public defender, Mr. Calendar? I think he said yes. Okay, PD will be provisionally appointed. Thank you. Deandra Kobe. Thank you. Thank you. Please say your name. Ms. Kobe, you were arrested for domestic violence battery. I've read the affidavit. There is probable cause. PTR, any history? Bond in this case will be set at $500 with pretrial release. At this time, there'll be no contact with listed victim, no return to any shared residence, a one-time assist order. Do you need a public defender, ma'am? Okay, PD will be provisionally appointed. Thank you. Miguel Cordero. No problem. If corrections wants me to skip them, I can. No problem. Thank you. Please say your name. Mr. Cordero, you were arrested for DUI. I read the affidavit. There is probable cause. PTR, any history? Does he qualify for PTR with bond? Okay. Bond in this case will be set at $1,000. Do not possess any illegal drugs. Do not consume any illegal drugs. Do not possess or consume any alcohol. Do not drive without a valid license. You may need to check on your license status when you get out. The file indicates law enforcement marked this as a refusal. If that was submitted to the DMV, they're going to suspend your license for a year unless you have a review hearing and plead your case in front of the hearing officer. So do not drive unless you know that your license is valid. Do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed provisionally. Thank you. Michael Dorogov. Thank you. Please say your name. Mr. Dorogov, you were arrested for battery. I've read the affidavit. There is probable cause. It alleges roommates. It does not allege anything that I would believe at this time, based on what was put in here, that it's domestic battery, so it's simple bat, but there is probable cause. Bond will be set at $500. No contact with victim. No return to shared residence. One-time assist order is permitted. And I'd also state that there appears that he is on probation in 18 CF 1531 in Osceola, 18 CF 1531, which expires February 23. Court finds on-view violation, remands in that case, sets bond at 0. Probation has 10 days to file the affidavit. Mr. Dorogov, do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed provisionally. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Dorogov, do you want a public defender in the probation cases too? Yes, PD will be provisionally appointed in those 2 felony case numbers as well. Thank you for the clarification. Deborah Joseph Splatt. Please say your name. Ma'am, you were arrested for domestic violence, battery by strangulation. There is probable cause. PTR, any history? At this time, bond will be set at $1,000. Does she qualify for PTR supervision with bond? $1,000 with PTR. At this time, no contact with listed victim. No return to any shared residence. One-time assist is permitted. Do not possess any weapons or firearms. Ma'am, do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed. Thank you. Timothy Micus. Thank you. All right, thanks. He's out of county. He posted bond. Okay. Elizabeth Moore. Thank you. Please say your name. Ms. Moore, you were arrested on 2 warrants for failure to appear. They're both set with bonds of $2,999, so that's just about $6,000 total, $2,999 on each. Do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed provisionally. Thank you. Michael Sauer. Thank you. Please say your name. Mr. Sauer, you were arrested for domestic violence battery, and it's the battery alleged as a second or subsequent offense or offender. There is probable cause. PTR, any other history? Sir, your bond in this case will be set at $2,000. You may not have any contact with the listed victim, your brother. You may not return to any shared residence. You may have an assist order if you have your personal belongings at that same address. You may not possess any weapons or firearms. Do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed. Thank you. Robert Thorpe. And I'm sorry, I did mention to the clerk a minute ago, I may have gotten one or two papers out of order, so I apologize if I confuse you in calling the wrong order. I tried to put it back where I thought it belonged, but just in case. Thank you. Sir, please say your name. I'm sorry, one more time. Thank you, sir. You were arrested for battery. It's not domestic violence battery, but it's battery with a victim alleged to be over 65 years old. I'm sorry? Her not being over 65 is not true? Oh, okay. Well, I'm letting you know why you were arrested. What was written in the affidavit does provide sufficient probable cause. PTR, any history? Okay. And based on what I read in this affidavit and based on the no priors that PTR indicates, bond will be set at $500. Does he qualify for PTR supervision with bond? With PTR supervision, no contact with listed victim. And I did read the paperwork thoroughly. I understand the living situation, but because this is alleged to be a victim of a crime, of a felony, it's no return to the shared residence. You may have an assist order to retrieve personal belongings. I understand, sir. That's what I just got finished saying. I did read it, but this is a criminal charge. It's a felony charge. And I cannot, at this time, at first appearances, displace the alleged victim. Do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed. Next court date will be on demand. Thank you. Jocelyn Velasquez. Thank you. Okay, please say your name. Ms. Velasquez, you were arrested on a warrant for failure to appear. Your bond is $2,000. Do you need a public defender? PD will be appointed provisionally. Thank you. Nicholas Zimmer. Thank you. Please say your name. Mr. Zimmer, you were arrested for possession of paraphernalia and tampering with evidence or altering, destroying, or attempting to conceal or dispose of evidence. There is probable cause for those arrests. PTR, any other history? Bond in count 1 will be set at $100. Bond in count 2 will be stayed at $2,500 with PTR and random drug testing. Mr. Zimmer, do you need a public defender? Do you need a public defender was my question, sir. PD will be appointed. Thank you. Simone Banks. Don't have any other papers here.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, give me a second. I'll come back to that. Simone Banks. Please say your name. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Simone Banks.
Thank you. Sir, you were arrested for an out-of-county warrant, has 2 counts, Polk County. Your bond is $2,000 total. If you are able to post that bond, you can be released from the Osceola County Jail. If you can't post that bond, we'll let Polk County know we have you, and if they allow us, we can try to resolve your case from Osceola. But if you can't post the bond is when we'll try and see what needs to be done, okay? Do you need a public defender? PD will be provisionally appointed in Osceola for purposes of trying to facilitate either transport or communication with Polk County to see how they would like to address his transport. Thank you. Okay, so we found Scott Glidden. It got stuck to the back of another report I gave to the clerk, so she found it for me. Thank you. Please say your name. Mr. Glidden, you were arrested on a warrant out of Polk County. They set your bond at 0, similar to what I just said to the man before you. We'll let Polk County know that we have you. If they transport you, then they'll have somebody come pick you up. If they're not going to be accepting transports, we'll try to facilitate from our judge to their judge how we can maybe try and resolve your case if it's possible, okay? Do you need a public defender to help you figure that part out? All right, PD will be appointed provisionally for the purposes of trying to facilitate either transport or disposition. Thank you. Then the other case that I needed to put on the record was something that was confusing to the Osceola jail yesterday. George Nee, and I was told he would be transported, meaning brought to the chapel. Is he in there? All right, so let me clarify for at least the clerks and the corrections people. This was 20 MM 2451, the Osceola case. 20 MM 2451. Oh, you know what? He's here in Orange. That's right. I'm sorry. That's why he wasn't brought to the chapel in Osceola, because he's in Orange. He was arrested here in Orange yesterday. The information that I had yesterday was that he had an Osceola case that he was out on bond for. Turns out he's not on bond in the Osceola case, but there was an order revoking that was given to me and that I signed. I found out today when they gave us the email from Osceola that distinction. So I'm going to order that the order revoking pretrial release and ordering pretrial detention be set aside in 20 MM 2451. And so all he has to do is whatever the Orange County case says. So that's clear. There's nothing that's going to be a detainer or a hold of any kind for the Osceola case. He was never arrested, therefore he was never out on bond to have that revoked. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend. Mr. Johnson, Ms. Hill, it's always nice to hear you. Thank you. Bye-bye.